Good evening, everyone. Please rise for the national anthem.
नमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Namaste and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Flow Hyderabad Chairperson Pratibha Kunda and her committee, I, Rashi Agarwal, Executive Secretary of Flow Hyderabad, extend a warm welcome to our chief guest, all the dignitaries present, our distinguished past chairs, media persons, and to all of you joining us this evening. It fills me with immense pride and joy to have all of you at the annual event of FICCI Ladies Organization, Hyderabad, a celebration of everything that defines us, ambition, achievement, and above all, the power of women championing women. There's a story I once heard about the bamboo tree. For years after being planted, it showed no signs of growth at all. Day after day, it is watered, nurtured, and cared for with faith. Yet it stays hidden beneath the surface. And then, one fine day, it suddenly shoots up, soaring nearly 80 feet tall, almost overnight. What seems like sudden success is years of unseen strength taking root. I believe that is the story of every woman here today. Each one of us has faced moments where our work might have been invisible or our efforts unnoticed. But we kept going, building silently, supporting one another, and waiting for that moment to rise. And when women rise, we don't do it alone. We raise others with us. That is exactly what Flow represents, the spirit of women who build, uplift, and empower. So tonight, as we celebrate another year of growth, collaboration, and sisterhood, let us remember we have never walked alone. Every step we take rests on the paths carved by women before us, and with each stride forward, we are not just shaping our own destinies, we are illuminating the way for countless others to follow. Once again, a very warm welcome to all of you. Let's make this evening memorable, meaningful, and magical. I request Flow Chairperson Pratibha Kunda, Y-Flow Chairperson Pallavi Jain, our distinguished speaker Ms. NAVIKA KUMAR, Ms. Sita Palachola, CEO of V-Hub, Flow Past Chairs, Ms. Ajita Yogesh, Ms. Rekha Reddy, Ms. Rekha Lahoti, Ms. Padma Rajgopal, Ms. Sona Chatwani, Ms. Usha Rani Manne, Ms. Ritu Shah, and immediate past chair Ms. Priya Gazdar, and Y-Flow past chairs Ms. Aarti Shah and Ms. Riddhi Jain to step forward for lamp lighting. and Y-Flow past chairs to stay on for a picture with the speaker. I request the Flow Core Committee to please step forward after that, followed by the Executive Committee.
Ready, ma'am? One more, please. Please, straight camera, ma'am. One more, ma'am, please. Here, ma'am. Thank you. Long shot, ma'am. Long shot. Long shot. Right. Okay, here, everybody, please. One more, ma'am. Thank you.
Can I request everyone to please settle down?
Thank you.
As Flow Hyderabad steps into its 25th year, we must pause to acknowledge the years of hard work and resilience that has built this chapter to one of the strongest in India, one which has had many firsts. To those of you who may be unaware, FICCI Ladies Organization, established in 1983, is a leading non-profit body dedicated to empowering women professionals and entrepreneurs across India. As an integral part of FICCI, Flow proudly represents over 16,000 women across 21 chapters nationwide. The Flow Hyderabad chapter, with over 1,200 accomplished women members, has consistently focused on fostering leadership, nurturing personal growth, and encouraging entrepreneurship. Flow Hyderabad is the only chapter to have India's first 100% women-owned industrial park. It's called Flow Industrial Park. Situated in Sultanpur, on a 50-acre land expanse with 25 manufacturing units. It was a 250 crore investment, has green units, and has generated employment of 2,000 plus. Park 1 is completed and occupied, and Park 2 is under process. Hyderabad is also the first chapter across India to start a Flow Center of Excellence. Built over 2,800 square feet, this center equips women with skills and knowledge to advance their professional journeys and also serves as our office for our internal meetings. We have conducted multiple workshops this year for our members here. Flow Hyderabad takes pride in the work it does and its legacy. I now invite the chairperson to deliver her address and to take us through all that we have done this year. I'm so honored to have walked this journey with her.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So, we are here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, past chairpersons, friends of Flow, and my dear Flow family. When a year begins, it starts with a vision. But when it ends, it leaves behind something far more meaningful. Memories, impact, enduring friendships, and a journey that shapes us all. And somewhere along the way, the vision turns into a year full of moments you never quite anticipate. There were days of planning, countless meetings, and of course, more WhatsApp groups than I ever thought one phone could possibly handle. At one point, I felt my phone had become a full-time member of Flow, constantly buzzing with ideas, updates, calendars, appointments, schedules, and sometimes even midnight brainstorming sessions. But behind all those hundreds of messages, countless calls, and endless coordination was something truly beautiful. A community that cared, collaborated, and showed up every single time. Tonight, seeing so many inspiring women, and this year with their partners too, who walk beside them in their journeys, makes this evening even more special. And in the spirit of celebrating International Women's Day, it gives me immense pride and deep satisfaction to see this room filled with women who lead, create, and inspire in so many different ways. As India moves towards moves forward with a vision of becoming a fully developed nation by its 100th year of independence, driven by innovation, inclusive growth, strong infrastructure, and women-led development, today's agenda becomes more important than ever as we celebrate the spirit of women and their powerful role in shaping India's journey towards VIKSIT Bharat 2047. It makes this evening more meaningful that we are joined by a truly distinguished woman whose journey reflects the power of voice, vision, and leadership, who shapes national conversations with her fearless journalism and sharp insight that have made her one of the most respected figures in India's media landscape. Miss NAVIKA Kumar. A great round of applause for her, please. And moderating her today is a leader who's shaping the future of women entrepreneurs through policy, innovation, and leadership. Ms. Sita Palachula, CEO, VHub. An individual may initiate a dream, but when a team comes together with shared passion, discipline, and purpose, transformation happens. And today, I can proudly say that this journey belongs to every single member, mentor, partner, and sponsor. Before I say anything else, I must acknowledge the incredible past chairs who have guided me through this journey. Whenever I found myself at crossroads or unsure of the next step, it just took one phone call and they were always present with their guidance and reassurance. My family graciously accepted my constraints this year and became the support system I could rely on this journey. And somewhere in between the pressure, the planning, and the problem solving, what we really built were friendships, trust, and a shared purpose. Because in the end, Flow is not just about events, workshops, initiatives, and learnings. It's about the people who come together to make it possible. Let us now take you through the story of this incredible year, a story written by all of us together. AV, please. Thank you. Thank you. Watching that brings back so many memories. Behind every photograph you saw, every event, and every initiative, there were people who gave their time, their ideas, their energy tirelessly to ensure we could create something impactful together. And as this beautiful journey continues, I would also like to take this moment to share an important date with all our flow members. Our annual change of guard will take place on 21st of March, a particularly special occasion as we step into the 25th year of Flow Hyderabad. This milestone year will be led by our incoming chairperson, Ms. Sita Reddy, along with a wonderful team who will take forward the vision and legacy of this chapter with renewed energy and purpose. I request all our members to please block your calendars and join us as we celebrate this important day for Flow Hyderabad. And get ready for the 6th edition of Style Tattva on 12th and 13th of June at High-Tech's Hall number 2 with an extraordinary lineup of exclusive stalls. And now, I look forward to the insightful conversation of Ms. NAVIKA Kumar and Ms. Sita Palachola as they share their perspectives on the role and impact of women in shaping the vision of VIKSIT Bharat 2047. Thank you, and over to you, Rashi.
Thank you so much for this beautiful journey you took us back to. May I now request Ms. NAVIKA Kumar and Ms. Sita Palachola to join our chairperson on the dais and for the chairperson to felicitate them. I would quickly like to introduce both our distinguished guests for the evening. Ms. NAVIKA Kumar is amongst India's most illustrious journalists and a trailblazer in the profession. She's the group editor-in-chief of Times Now, India's most watched English news channel, and Times Now Nav Bharat, the fastest growing Hindi news channel in the country. Ms. Kumar is the first woman ever to head 2 national news channels in India. She brings with her a wealth of experience that has spanned more than 3 decades, including 15 years in print journalism as a correspondent with The Economic Times and an assistant editor with The Indian Express. She has established herself as India's preeminent political journalist with impactful reportage that has resonated in the corridors of power. Ms. Kumar has led exposés on political corruption and threats to national security, seeking accountability from the highest echelons of power. Her primetime program, News Hour, has consistently ranked number 1 in viewership, and her debates stand out for their uncompromising style. She has interviewed the biggest names in politics, entertainment, and business, right from PM Modi to Bill Gates. Ms. Kumar is also the recipient of multiple awards, including in 2025, the All India Management Association for outstanding contribution to the media. We are so happy to have you here with us. Ms. Sita Palachola is the CEO of VHub, India's first state government-led organization dedicated to supporting women entrepreneurs. With more than 2 decades of experience as a founder, technologist, and investment specialist, she has spent her career building ecosystems where ideas are not just encouraged, but given the support they need to grow. Since taking on this role, Ms. Sita has shaped VHub into far more than an incubator. It has evolved into a strong think tank and a collaborative platform that connects government partners, ecosystem enablers, academic institutions, corporates, and international organizations. Through these partnerships, women entrepreneurs gain access not only to mentorship and knowledge, but also to markets, capitals, and networks. Under her leadership, WeHub has impacted more than 10,000 individuals and over 9,000 students through digital training, entrepreneurship exposure, and student innovation initiatives. The impact of this work has been recognized nationally. WeHub has been featured for 2 consecutive years in the Economic Survey of India, acknowledging its role in advancing women-led economic participation and strengthening the state's innovation ecosystem. Through WeHub, Ms. Sita continues to open doors for more women to build businesses, create jobs, and shape the future of our economy. Once again, a very warm welcome to you both. I hand over now to our chairperson to take the session forward.
So good evening again. So welcome, NAVIKA ji. I'm so happy that for this annual event and the last event of this year for us, before we change of guard, and you are here with us for this special day event, and we are so happy. And thank you, Sita, for accepting and coming here and being with us in this journey.
I must thank you. The pleasure is entirely mine. A room full of women, that is called charged atmosphere, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. So, shall we start? Actually, I've given a lot of things for Sita. I'm just having a little starter. So,
all girls here, 2 of them are going to be firing at me. Please.
So, NAVIKA ji, you've covered politics and led primetime newsrooms for decades. What early experiences shaped your approach to political reporting and kind of journalism you believe matters most today?
Well, let me tell you one thing. Nothing prepares you for the job that I do today. In fact, life as I have known it has never been part of a prepared plan. Life has taken me from one place to another. For example, I grew up in a small town in Bihar and suddenly went and joined my first job in the Economic Times in Mumbai. Anybody who knew me, back in Bihar would never have imagined that I would survive one day in Mumbai. And then from Mumbai, I came to Delhi, again in a very competitive field. Nothing prepares you for it. You just go ahead with one thing in your mind, that you will give it your best shot. You will work hard, you will work sincerely, you will be consistent. And consistency, I think, is something that women, men, all alike don't pay so much attention to. It's every morning to wake up, appear, do the same thing over and over again, but every time bring a little value add. One has to make one's own way. Nothing prepares you for it. You just go for it and do it.
So life takes you the way, the journey is like that. The second one I like. Can you please enlighten us about the vision of VIKSIT Bharat 2047 and what role do you see women playing in it?
I think women, 50% of the population of this country, have a huge role to play. Each one of us has to go out there. Right now, we are talking about a women participation of about 27%. This has to go up. I'm not saying that women who are homemakers do not contribute. However, we have to be part of the formal sector to be recognized as a pillar of the society contributing to nation building. And I think women are great balancers. They know how much of home, how much of work, how good at home, how good at work. And I just encourage all women to move forward, to find the confidence within themselves, to keep talking to themselves and step out into the world. And I see, as we plan Viksit Bharat, unless women really do that, increase their participation, a country with 50% women and only 27% participation cannot be a Viksit country. So we have to come forward. We need to do this, and we need to do it on the terms that suit us. And for that, we have to be extremely confident. Each one, push one. If we do that, I think there will be a whole lot of women out there. And who knows that better than you women in FICCI Flow?
Thank you. So I think Sita, you will.
Thank you, Pratibha. First of all, congratulations on your stellar 1 year. And coming back to FICCI Flow always feels like coming home, because I know so many of you through the years, and there's so many friends and family even who are FICCI Flow members. Always a pleasure. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. What an honor and privilege to see you in the flesh and to be able to ask you questions that have often come into all our minds while watching you on the television set. A warm welcome to Hyderabad, to you.
Thank you very much.
I took her permission and she said, call me Navika, not Navika Ji. So I'm going to call her that. Navika.
Absolutely.
Navika, you've spent decades shining a light on women's stories, from village changemakers to boardroom pioneers. What's one unforgettable encounter with a woman entrepreneur or a leader that still gives you goosebumps? And how does it capture the quiet revolution happening for women in India today?
Well, as far as entrepreneurs are concerned, can I take more than one example out?
Absolutely.
The most recent one was with Nirja Birla. And what I loved about that interview was the fact that entrepreneurs, working women, women setting new benchmarks every day, at the end of the day are women. Empathetic women, women who are mothers, sisters, daughters, wives, and therefore the myriad of emotions that they experience and the empathy that they bring in. You know, that is what Woman of Steel means to me. And it was really fascinating talking with her. That's one example I can give you. The other one, Gitanjali Kirloskar. Life, brought her to a crossroads. She lost her husband at a time that nobody imagined. And, when you're in your 50s and you lose your husband, there is a business and there is life to take care of. I have seen that woman, and I always was fascinated about her story. And when I met her, I just find that women are, at the end of the day, we may look at them from whatever lens we may desire to look at them as, steely women, women who are determined, who handle the boardrooms. Sometimes we forget the human beings behind the facade. And it was a goosebump interview where we discussed, and she opened up raw emotions of having to deal with life after her husband's passing on, and how alone sometimes you can be, and then how you just rise up from the ashes and you make something of your life, of your destiny. You find your path ahead. And to my mind, that was a story of deep resolve and a survival instinct that is just so important in terms of survival for each woman. Story behind you or not, that survival instinct was something that I really took away from that one.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I agree with one thing. Women, it's at the end of the day women, right? And deep resolve and survival of instinct, right? Instinct of survival. If I may allude to a small story of a village entrepreneur that I recently encountered, because one that came to my mind as you were sharing your stories. It's this lady called Mallaka, never been educated, from a small village called Mulugu in the deep areas of Telangana. So she used to sell fish every day. Long story short, she couldn't sell fish because they wouldn't allow her to get the fish on the bus because the whole bus would smell. So one day the conductor pushed her out and then she fell with her fish, and when she got back home, her mother-in-law said, you can't come back home until you earn that money and come back. So her journey was of 1 week trying to work as a bricklayer, all of this, and get the money. And then she said, I can't be doing this, I need to do something more. With a lot of intervention, now she runs a mobile van where she prepares fish delicacies. She earns anywhere around 5,000 to 10,000 rupees a day. Employs all her family, right? So when she was sharing this story in one of the boot camps, it's truly what you said. It's the instinct to survive and the deep resolve as women that they have. So one that I wanted to share with you, because that definitely gave me goosebumps as well.
I'm sure there's one such story in each one of us lives. One such point where we thought we would give it all up. I've been through it.
Yeah.
I've been through it. I have quit. I have come back. There are many occasions when you're put down as a woman in the workplace. You're not good enough, especially when you're having your kids. You know, the system thinks that you're not serious about your work. We've all gone through these. But each one of us picks up the pieces, starts life all over again. I mean, we start our careers, then we get married, we have our children, and then, you know, we take a step back, and then we have to come back and start as newbies on the job and again start building. And if we have a second child, then we take a little bit of a hit there in terms of our professional achievements. We all do it. But that's what I say, perseverance. Come up every morning, do the same thing again and again and again. And that's what I tell women in my teams. You're taking a maternity leave, don't worry, but come back in the stipulated time. I'll hold your hand. I'll take you through those painful months and years. But come back every morning, don't give up. And that is what keeps us going.
Thank you so much for saying that, because I think people often expect women to have flatline careers like this. But there's so many changes. If you don't talk about it and acknowledge it, then everybody, all the men around who make the rules usually, think that your career has to be this way. But you could give birth and you need to take, the whole world is telling you to have children, but then the social construct makes it very difficult for you to come back. And it's so important to have mentors who will say, I will handhold you and guide you through the return journey. But do come back. It's so important sometimes to even just listen to it. So thank you for saying that on this platform, and I don't think enough women speak about that, about the journey that sort of goes through its troughs and crests when you take on different roles and responsibilities as a woman at home. Yeah?
Absolutely. I mean, when I got this call to come here, I actually thought to myself, really? Am I an achiever? Do I deserve to be there? You have these self-doubts because you almost didn't make it. Each one of us has had that time in our lives that we almost gave up. You know, it could be kids, it could be pressures at the workplace, it could be anything. We almost gave up. Nobody gave us a chance in hell to survive. The reason I was motivated to come here was only that if my picture can be up there, if I can be sitting up here to talk to all of you, each one out there each one in here can be a trailblazer. That is the faith that we should have. If a small town girl can make it to the editor-in-chief, and the only woman editor-in-chief heading an English news channel and an English and a Hindi news channel together, a Hindi news channel has never had a woman editor, then guys, we have it in us. I'm not extraordinary. We don't have to be extraordinary. We just have to keep our eyes on the ball. We have to be persevering. We have to just keep ourselves, that inner voice that tells us, okay, okay, today is done, tomorrow is another day. Okay, okay, today is done, tomorrow is another day. And life takes you through. You find the energy, you find the strength, and then in the end you become just so kick-ass.
Thank you. The next question. Women make up about 23% of the workforce nationally. What stories of women entrepreneurs or workers you've profiled feel like they're driving real change? And what's the one stubborn barrier we need to smash to make those wins scale nationwide? There's stubborn barrier somewhere.
Well,
everywhere.
Barriers are there everywhere, and I don't think women need to do anything special. They've got to stop treating themselves as different from men, frankly. We're all the same. We are educated. We have our own set of skills, and we go to the workplace not thinking of ourselves as women, but as professionals. And we put our best foot forward, and we just do that. Be professional, do the job at hand, excel at the job at hand, and just keep going. Men will have their men clubs. That's fine. That's fine. If the only thing I feel that women don't hang in there together as much as they should. Men may favor men, maybe. I mean, I've not been part of the boys' club, so I wouldn't know. But they hang in there together.
Yep.
And each one does a little bit for the other. Women don't necessarily do that. Which is why I keep saying, if there is one woman who can pull up 2 or 3 or even 5 women up, can you see how much you've done? And it's not difficult for one woman here to bring 2 or 3 more up there. And then she moves to the next rung, pulls 2 or 3 more. If we just make that human chain, can you imagine what kind of women empowerment we would be doing, and how many women would come out and be successful?
Fabulous, yes. A note to take from all of that. One quick thing, going back to what you said, Navika, is the boys' club, right? Most of the networking happens, in these after hours, and networking comes, it's second nature because, usually the priority is not to run back home. And one of the complaints that we often hear is, well, women don't have as much time to network and form those bonds and then climb up the ladder and all of that. So that certainly is a barrier, but like you said, you show up and you form your own like-minded community, and then you lift each other up. I think which is why institutions like FICCI, Flow, WeHub, and other sister organizations are important, because it's truly about supporting each other.
Very true.
And picking each other up. Yes?
Yeah. I believe in that. Well, in the newsroom, frankly, we don't even have the time to go and, seek support from, because in the media, you're out there alone. Nobody's looking out for you. It's so cutthroat. Easier said than done. But you just keep going, and frankly, I've gone through this. In my reporting years, the men folk can take their sources out for a drink. Women folk can't do that. We can't take, and I'm talking about the 90s. 90s and early 2000s, we couldn't take out our sources, bureaucrats or politicians out for a drink or sit after hours and chat with them and stuff like that. We didn't do it. I don't think that puts you back. I think you have to be professional about everything. I know a politician who met people only after 10:30 at night. And I went up to him and I said, I'm not going to be able to meet you post 10 p.m. I need an appointment maybe once a month or once in 2 months, because this person was a very crucial person in a government's functioning, in a party's functioning. So you needed to meet that person if you needed to do the kind of work I was doing. And I went up straight and said, I ain't seeing you post 8 o'clock. I am a woman and you have to find time during the day. What is this? There are women journalists and you can't make this a boys' club that only boys can survive in this. And the guy was taken aback, said, I never thought of it from that point of view. And every time I called that guy and his office, I got, sir ne bola hai, aap 8 baje ke baad nahi aayingi, 7 baje aapko suit karega. So I also think you have to be upfront about what works for you, what are your rules, how will you do the work, and how you will not push those boundaries. People fall in line. We have to take the lead in making those red lines. And now, well, as you grow older and your kids are, I'm right now going through an empty nest. So right now, I don't have a problem. I can meet people, do anything. But when I was younger, this is the solution I found.
Speak up, and yes, oftentimes you're made to feel guilty because you're saying you can't do this because there's a certain time restriction or whatever. But you're very right. We need to speak up. We need to use our senior voice and say, this is my limitation, and work within that limitation, because it truly is.
And in the 21st century, people do understand that and do make space for that. The sensitivity levels have gone up. We can quibble about how much, but if you're professional and you push the envelope, you get by.
At least we're talking about it. So now people are scared and they'll say, okay, we've heard you.
So be clear and be heard.
Yes.
Yes.
Surveys show most professional women aspire to leadership, yet the top stalls. From the powerhouses you've interviewed, what's the allyship from men or organizations that actually works, and which outdated myth is ready to retire? We'll focus on the allyship of men because we've just spoken about it. So what do you think, out of your very many interviews, what is the one thing that you found striking as a support system when men really come into the picture?
Actually, it's a welcome change. The objectification, in a sense, if you draw the boundaries, has reduced. At least I can say there are a lot more women out there, and in the day of the mobile phone, nobody actually messes with you. So that's one great weaponization that has happened of the professional woman. Having said that, I no longer feel that, if women try to be inclusive in their, networking, call it, or, colleague support system, it's not gender specific anymore. Earlier, the girls would hang together. Now, we have groups where men are part of the, dosti group and support systems, and there are many men who come in there. A lot of men, folk, fellow colleagues in the media industry have on many occasions stood by me. And it's just that you have to go out there. I think what really is important is for us to break down our own mental barriers and go out there and not make everything just so gender specific. It's the world out there, everybody is an equal, and what works for me, what doesn't work for me, doesn't work for me, and make it known. And I think people are taking it in their strides to a large extent. At a younger level, yes, there are problems for younger women, but I see the younger women maneuvering this landscape pretty confidently, and that I think is the change in generation and the times that we live in, the percolation of internet. And I'm talking about also a lot of work that takes place in cities. Maybe the tier 2, tier 3 towns will take a little more time to get to that level, but change is here.
Thank you. So yeah, it helps to have men allies because sometimes they need to talk to each other about it. And congratulations to all the men who showed up today. Well done, because usually when you say it's a women's event, somehow automatically they'll exclude themselves, but we cohabit this planet and we're not mind readers, so it helps to have an open dialogue. So it's good to know what each one of us is going through. So well done. My next question is about women's safety. You alluded to a point where you said, now women have a mobile phone. So it truly is, sometimes you feel safe because you can quickly record something or hold somebody accountable with evidence, right? But it's still scary. We work with thousands of women and sometimes as young as 17 years old. And there is so much happening. And usually the children, or women, the family prohibits them to speak about. This cuts across economic strata, it cuts across education, all of that. So official data still logs around 4.45 lakh crimes against women yearly, roughly 51 every hour. So in terms of media coverage, that has matured from headlines to accountability because, people are held accountable. It's no more just a breaking headline. Where do you think we need to get even louder about safety, women's safety? Because all of this is what you're achieving on the outside and all of that, but safety truly begins at home, I feel. There's still a long way for us to go. Where do you think we can champion that louder?
I think we have to give girls and women more confidence to be able to speak about these issues. A lot of stuff you said, yes, there is family pressure, there is societal pressure. Even when there is a case of abuse, of somebody pushing the boundaries, girls are hesitant to speak about it because of this societal pressure, so to speak. Now that is something that persists. My sense is more people are coming out into the open, even in tier 2, 3, even in villages. Also awareness at a level where earlier it used to be a problem for women to even go and register a complaint in a police station. Now, again, I would say awareness, internet, your phones. If a woman's complaint is not being heard, there is pressure on the police station, on those people inside there कि ये लड़की अभी एक वीडियो बनाकर सोशल मीडिया पे डाल देगी. And that is a deterrent for people not to hear the complaints. But I think the empowerment will really come from the home front. Mothers, fathers will have to make their children confident that they can come out and talk about these things. And when they do, not shame them, but actually take corrective action. It is work in progress. It hasn't reached the levels that it should. But glad to say that people are coming out into the open. probably will help us as time goes by. Long way to go before we do that. But more women coming out into the workspace actually makes the workspace also more secure. And therefore, as the women workforce increases, I feel this problem will begin to get addressed on its own, number one. And I'm not saying men are only predators. On many occasions, I have seen men folks standing up for the women folk and helping them to get strength to come out and talk about these issues. So more power to men, more awareness coming in to the younger generations. People in their 20s and 30s stand by their women friends much more than I feel in the earlier generations people did. So I think awareness is the basic issue. Societal pressure will only go if each one changes themselves and then recommends change to the people they know in their families, in their friend circle. That is the only way to start a movement. And I saw in your presentation, alone we are individuals, but when we get together, then it is a movement. And it will have to be a movement for this entire issue to be addressed.
Agree with you 100% on that as well, and I think it's a collective social responsibility rather than just a government institution or with the law enforcement or the legal framework, but it truly starts at home. So when we stop shaming
including
people,
marital rape.
yes.
We need to speak about these issues.
Yes.
You know, women and their views have to be treated as their decisions. And my body, my decision is something that should become a social norm. It has to start from home, and it's not just with our daughters. We can start with our daughters-in-law as well. So, you know, that's the way we need to go. And again, we have to make this a movement. Each one, teach one was one tagline. I think each one, help one should be for the women. I would say help five.
Help five, everybody, make a note. Quick question on cyber and workplace, harassment, because this is also for the Gen Z in the crowd. And because it's become exponential over the last, because you can hide behind a fake ID and sort of troll and harass and harangue.
You're telling me? I have armies out there that do it to me every evening. I think we've got to get a thick skin on just the trolling bit, but yes, harassment that goes beyond just that line. Of course, we need to address that issue. It's a crime, and we have a DG from the police here, and I'm sure she can do, ma'am, if I can have your attention, she can do workshops on this, on how people can actually come out and address this problem. Stalking is just so prevalent, cyber harassment is prevalent. I think we've got to call it out. We've got to call it out rather than hiding behind a wall. We just have to step forward and unmask it, because the more we stay scared of this issue, it only increases the blackmail that goes on. We've got to look at the problem in the eye, stop. I mean, it's easier said than done, because if somebody is going through it, but reaching out and not staying within is an effort each woman will need to make. You've got to seek help. You can't resolve this on your own. Where that help is, how it is something that will need to be figured out on a case-to-case basis. But family and friend systems can be huge support systems where these things can be discussed and resolved, with a helpline hanging in there for everybody. Each person needs to be absolutely confident that they do have a helpline.
On that note, I'd like to acknowledge ma'am's presence. We have fabulous IPS officers who are women here. Actually, the additional Director General of Police, Charu Sinha ma'am, started women's safety. Yes, she started
a women's safety wing where we can go and we have to register, and all of us can, I think, they provide
Yeah.
a support system to that.
Correct.
Anybody
And
can go
she's-
and, yeah.
Correct. She started an initiative called I Stand With Her, and she made the promo only with men. She said now they will, because now you're forced to speak about it. Ask your fellow students. There were college students there, and it was really, really fantastic. And I think it's collective work of our trailblazing women IPS officers we're very proud of in the state who are doing this for us.
More power to you,
Yeah.
ma'am. More power to you. And that's why I said we should not look at these issues as just gender specific. Only a woman can help a woman. No. I mean, a woman can talk to a man about the issues that she's facing. And she can talk to her brother, she can talk to her father, she can talk to her friend. And the friend can be a man.
Yep.
And we need to encourage this in societies, and I feel a sense of promise in the manner in which I look at the present generations, the Gen Zs and Gen Alphas and Betas and Gammas and whatever. But I see there is that sense of equality in those friendships, much more evolved than it was in our growing up years, and it's very promising. I see this. I have two boys, and I see them standing up for women who are in their peer group and all of that. And they sometimes do come to me and say, Mom, so and they will not reveal the identity, but one friend is going through something like this. What do you think we should do? And they're very protective about the fact that the name should not be revealed. And I appreciate that, and I encourage that, and I tell them that you could do this, you could do that, you could seek help here, and wherever I can, I give them, because they also don't want the mothers to know their friends' issues. So you have to also maintain that distance and give them their privacy, so that, but you give them somebody who can actually help them without knowing them personally, so that their issues remain private and for them. So we all need to do this, and we need to start at home.
Here's to raising strong boys with strong role models at home, yeah? I'm watchful of the time. I can go on forever and listen to you speak for hours, and I'm sure the audience would agree. But I'm watchful of the time. I'm down to my last two questions. Women leaders lift safety and economic numbers. You've witnessed it. If you gathered ministers from women and child, finance and home for one real talk session, what 3 must-do actions top your list?
There is so much that 3 will not suffice, so I will just tell them to sit, and each one of them, and I must share this with you because I have had the honor of interacting with the 2 powerful ministers that you spoke about, Smriti Irani, the former Women and Child Minister, and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. And I must contrast their styles. Ms. Smriti Irani is somebody who any of us can sit here, hear her, and just feel so inspired. Because she's vociferous, she stands up for what she believes in, and she's extremely articulate. And, people have questioned her in the public space about her education, but every time I see her reinventing herself, getting engaged in issues that I feel maybe PhDs would find it difficult. So why do people ask anybody's qualifications when they speak on a certain subject? And I just feel extremely energized and inspired that this is one woman who knows what she wants. She goes out there and speaks her mind and doesn't wait for any endorsement or validation from the people or the public in general, or even her own peer group her competitors. She's not seeking any of that validation. She is confident on her own. She's extrovertish and it's easy to see her. On the other side, I see Nirmala Sitharaman. Strong, steely, and just so well informed, just equally determined, but in an introverted way. Extremely poised, calm, none of it like my 9 o'clock show. No screaming, no shouting, very calm, very collected, but knows where she's going. Knows, and she sits there, she doesn't demand your respect, she commands it. And that is another learning. So two people, I've seen them in the same cabinet, I have interviewed them on different occasions and come back with a totally different feeling after meeting them. Each one of them impressive in their own way. Each one of them living in a world that is absolutely male dominated. Politics, in any case, doesn't treat women in the best of ways. But maybe 33% reservation is coming soon is what we've been hearing for decades. So I hope it's coming soon. And I hope it doesn't turn out to be the politician's wife, daughter, sister, getting the representation, and it is actual women empowerment. Because I've seen politics close quarters, winnability is all they worry about. So if the father or the brother or the husband is the winnable candidate, uski बीवी को दे सकते हैं, उसकी बेटी को दे सकते हैं. So I just hope it is in letter and spirit and not just in form. Having said that, and I've seen many before that, Vijay Raje Scindia, I have not ever been in that era, but Indira Gandhi, the manner in which she conducted herself, Margaret Thatcher, is a role model, I guess, for anybody to look at, how strong women can be. I've seen Vasundhara Raje Scindia. As a young reporter, I have interviewed her. Impressive. These women have not been apologetic about where they are. They're not there because their parties have ordained that they should be there. These women are there because they are capable women. And even Mamata Banerjee, I mean, that woman has defied all odds to start in a violent state like Bengal in the time when she removed the left government of 30 years. For her to come in, completely change the power equation over there. What resolve? I mean, these are women of steel. You may agree with them, you may not agree with them, that's a separate issue. The issue is they are not there because somebody has put them there. They are there because they deserve to be there, they have fought to be there. And that is what makes it truly special.
Fantastic. I think that answer in itself deserves a round of applause. To my last question. From grilling PMs to amplifying everyday heroes on your show, what's the one piece of advice, one piece of hard-earned, straight from the heart wisdom you'd share with every young woman leader or entrepreneur in India today?
Normally, I don't give advice unless sought very specifically, because free advice is never honored. But the one thing that I would like to say, women or men or whoever is stepping out there, there has to be a hunger in your stomach. Unless you have that hunger to achieve something, to do something, to make a difference, well, life goes on. Monday will turn into Tuesday, Tuesday will turn into Wednesday, and it will be a line just a little like this. But if you have the hunger, if you have the enterprise, and I'm talking about entrepreneur women, go take the risk. go out there, try anything new, break the barriers, break the boundaries, redefine things. Even if you don't go with a mindset of redefining, at least if you're taking risks, you can actually set a benchmark. So go out there. I mean, when I had worked for 15 years in the print medium, and I had this opportunity in television, and I kept telling myself, predictable life is better, kids are taken care of, one story you can file from home if you're working for a newspaper, why go to television? Television, you have to be present where the action is. You know, it's an audio-visual medium, so physical presence is just so important. And I said, no, I'm 38, I ain't going there. Cushy life and, you know, balance maintained. But then this opportunity kept knocking on my door for 4 months. And then I just sat back and thought, is there a divine message here? That the opportunity is here, go, take it with both hands, and just give it a shot. And you know what I told myself? I told myself, मैं कौन सी अमिताभ बच्चन हूँ कि मेरा नाम खराब हो जाएगा? I can take a risk. Who knows NAVIKA Kumar? So let's go. And left newspapers and went to television. I was told by many of my seniors at that time that I would last 3 months and I would be back into a predictable newspaper environment. 3 months, and they told me your login is here, your room is here, your computer is here, you'll come back. It's 20.5 years and counting. I'm still here. I defied the odds of age because at 40 people thought television careers were over. You needed to go back behind the screen because wrinkles begin to show. Here I am, you know. I've defied every single odd, from a reporter to a political editor to an anchor to a prime time anchor with no training whatsoever in the field. I'm here. I hadn't seen a camera and how to look into a camera, you know, the day before I joined Times Now. And here I am, extremely comfortable in my skin, just experienced, just because I took my chances and I just went with the flow of life. And sometimes you just go with the flow of life. The rest, there is divine energy that works for you.
Totally.
That's what I believe in.
I totally believe in that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what inspiration looks like. Thank you for our daily dose of television. And I think this is why female role models are important, because every answer had have deep resolve, be resilient, and help the ones around you. Every single answer you reiterated that, and this is why I often shout at the top of my lungs that we need more women role models to come and speak about these things. I'm so happy that Pratibha, because of you, I've had an opportunity to do that with the role model. So thank you. Over to you now.
Yeah, I have one question still.
Okay.
Yes.
Keep it coming.
So I said, we said VIKSIT Bharat, we should have one. So as India moves towards the vision of VIKSIT Bharat 2047, now economic growth will increasingly depend on entrepreneurship, innovation, and inclusive participation is what I feel. So with Flow bringing together thousands of women entrepreneurs and professionals across India, how can organizations like ours strategically plan out, channel our investments, mentorship, and initiatives to meaningfully contribute to this initiative of VIKSIT Bharat?
The one thing that I feel we need to do as the women workforce, I know there is a very accomplished doctor here. I'm sure there are engineers here. But I think there are 2 areas where women are coming in, but they need to go in more surely. Artificial intelligence is one area. The tech areas, there should be more women participating in that field, I think, because the next growth, the next change is going to be in the area of tech, and women should not lose out. So I think we should make a conscious effort to not just look at professions from the point of view कि ये ladies के लिए अच्छा है and ये थोड़ा मुश्किल है तो छोड़ दो. There are two areas. Tech is one that I said. The other is finance and even financial planning at home. Two very, very important areas that women haven't really pushed themselves as hard as a society. I'm not talking about individual cases. There are, of course, achievers in these areas, and many of them are women. But I'm saying at a societal level, we need to push this a little more. Otherwise, we will not be part of the next wave of innovations and financial planning. Even at home, many women switch off when it comes to investments, when it comes to financial planning, that the men folk of the house will do it, because numbers, numbers also give me a lot of headache and a queasy feeling. But I think we must take active role in planning our personal finances. That is where our basic independence comes from. So we must push the envelope in these two areas.
I totally accept. We had a financial literacy session with Ms. Rachna Ranade, and this is exactly what she showed us that day. How women just leave the finance part and they just move back and they say, okay, let the men take foot forward. And I think you're totally right. It makes a big, big difference. So now I think we'll have a rapid fire for you for the closure. A very, very simple.
I love to be the one asking it, not answering it. So can we change roles? Can I do this part and ask Pratibha those questions?
This is for you. we make it faster. One word for India in 2047 from you.
Superpower, which is empathetic. It has a human side.
That's really well said. A misconception people have about political journalism.
That it's very easy, khali jaake gap to marna hai, and politicians are very welcoming. They are not, they will not tell you anything. If I have to meet a politician, I work so hard that I will drop this gossip, then I will get this. So you have to work very, very hard. Economic journalism was easier to do because specific policy decisions are easier to get. Abstract political insight, very difficult to get.
Okay. So one leadership trait women naturally bring to the table? What do you feel?
I think they bring everything that men bring, plus they bring empathy and practicality. I think women are solution oriented, they are multitaskers, so they are men plus XXXX.
Okay. One thing India must protect while becoming a developed nation. What do you think that we should?
Our social fabric, our culture, our empathy, and our self-pride. We have to be proud of who we are, where we come from, our identity. We should be proud of it. I'm very proud to be an Indian. And for me, development, becoming a superpower does not mean that I'm doing what some of the most developed countries are doing. I'm a sari wearing woman, I'm a bindi wearing woman, yet I'm the best. That is what we should be.
Super, super. It's just, if you could interview any historical figure, who would it be?
Sardar Patel, maybe. And one more. Maybe Kishore Kumar or Mohammad Rafi.
Okay. So, one interview that made your heart race before going on air?
I recently interviewed Kapil Dev, and it was like a dream come true. Watching him winning the 1983 World Cup. And I've always found him this dream achiever. This story of an underdog. Somebody who comes from a totally, non-entitled background, simple, bichara aaj bhi struggles to speak in English, doesn't like to speak too much in English. But I love that about him. The fact that we are proud of our roots, it is our work, our achievements that talk, and just so proud to be an Indian. And he said one thing that really touched my heart. He said, गरीब से गरीब आदमी भी अगर हो इस देश में 5 रुपए उसे टैक्स देना चाहिए, just to say कि ये मेरी तरफ से नेशन बिल्डिंग के लिए. And I thought that was a thought that could actually create so much of attachment between what we call nationalism, which is more dialogue and rhetoric than the actual feeling. I think this one can create a whole lot of connect and emotional bonding between us and our country.
So the last one from me, one Indian women leader who inspires you the most.
There is not one. I think 140 crore people in this country, 70 crore women. 70 crore women in this country inspire me because each one has a special achievement, a special challenge, a special problem that they surmount. And they surmount it every hour, every day, every week, every month. And that is why they come out and just survive. It is each one of those women. I'm proud of the men too, so let's not just make this about women. I'm really proud of men. Actually, we should also somewhere stop this gender business only to reflect women, because no family is complete without men and women both being part of it.
Very true.
I'm proud of each one of those 140 Indians. I just feel some of them who are insensitive and get into the criminal part of things, exclude them. The others, well, each one of them inspires me.
Thank you so much, Navika ji. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time spent with you. And I think, as she says, we can listen to you for hours together, but we have to stop. Rashi, over to you, please.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much to both our guests today for throwing light on such an important topic, of women's role in VIKSIT Bharat 2047. I now call upon our chairperson to felicitate all our sponsors who've made all this year possible. As I call upon you, we would be honored to have you on stage with us. We have first Ms. Prachi Shah from Swastik Group, our premium platinum sponsor. Ms. Prachi is also one of our executive committee heads. Please come up to the dais. Next, we have Mr. Prasad and Ms. Jhansi Chalavari from Varamahalakshmi. Thank you for your CSR support for our initiatives. Our diamond sponsor, Mr. Sriram and Ms. Radhika from BTech CAD. We next have Mr. Praveen and Ms. Bindu from Southern Travels, our gold sponsors. We now come to our initiative sponsors, Ms. Varsha and Ms. Charu Shah from Vasundhara Buildocks. Ms. Radha Rani from Vision Tech. She is one of our very old flow committee members, not in terms of age, in terms of number of years in the committee. Prachi Trivedi Shah from Swastik Vikas Initiative. Mr. Srinivas and Ms. Madhvi from Santoshi Mata Oil. Our venue partner, Pradhan Convention, Mr. Pratik and Ms. Dhanya. Our chairperson, son and daughter-in-law, can we please have you here with us? And thank you for this fabulous venue. Food and beverage partner, Sri Lakshmi Caterers. Mr. Kalyan, can we have you up with us? I'm told he is not available. Event sponsor, Mr. Pradeep from Sri Aditya Vantage. Mr. Kalyan from Sri Lakshmi Caterers. Thank you for the wonderful food. Our event sponsors, Sri Aditya Vantage. We have a huge team of theirs with us today. And last but not the least, our gifting partner, Rohini Feeds. They were our Dokra gifting sponsor. Can we have Ms. Sita Reddy up here with us? And if Mr. Ranjit is here, Ms. Sita Reddy is also our incoming chairperson. Thank you, all our dear sponsors. Without all of you, our efforts and initiatives would not have been possible. I hand over now to our chairperson again for a super special segment. This one's for the committee.
Hi again. So I think we are coming to the end of this annual year, and I just wanted to share a few things with all of you. I'd like to take a moment to express my gratitude to the many people who made this journey possible. To our sponsors, every initiative, speaker session, outreach program was made possible because you chose to invest in our vision. Your support was truly foundational, and you fueled our impact. We also extend our deepest appreciation to our esteemed friends of Flow, our institutional collaborators, key government officials and partners whose leadership and support have strengthened our efforts multifold and have enabled us to scale impact with credibility, continuity, and lasting change. There is a saying that a legacy is not what we leave behind, but what we inspire others to carry forward. As we move ahead and grow, we remain deeply mindful of where our strength comes from. Today, we gratefully acknowledge our past chairpersons whose vision and leadership built the foundation we proudly carry forward. I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the incredible teams who powered every initiative this year. To the empowerment team, you didn't just conduct sessions, you stood beside our members and helped them move forward with clarity and confidence. To the learning workshops team, you identified what our members actually needed and curated sessions that were practically enjoyable and relevant. To the wellness workshop team, your thoughtful curation and seamless execution created meaningful spaces where our members could pause, reconnect, and recharge. To the social media team, you captured our journey, highlighted our impact, and ensured our work reached far beyond the room it happened in. To the events team, You made every event seamless, and that only happens because of the planning, coordination, and hard work happening behind the scenes. To the She Learns team, from the Rural Skill Center to Bongir to government and polytechnic colleges in urban areas, you carried learning to communities where it was truly needed and created an impact that will travel far beyond classrooms. To the Skill Her team, you conducted various vocational training programs and created pathways to financial independence of many women. This is empowerment in its most tangible form. To the Dokra team, what you have done this year is truly remarkable. The many trips to Adilabad, spending time with artisans, understanding their challenges firsthand, working with them patiently and consistently. Beyond any numbers, what stands out to me is your commitment. To the Style Tattva team, pulling off a marquee event with the scale and impact that it had was no small feat. Style Tattva's 5th edition was not just an exhibition, it was a statement, and I couldn't be prouder. To the retreat team, you brought in the fun, the entertainment, but also created meaningful networking and learning moments. To the Business League team, you've identified potential, mentored participants, and gave them the confidence to present their businesses on the Flow platform. To the Connect team, you've captured every milestone, every initiative, every story so beautifully. It all reflected the spirit of our chapter. The Marketplace team, for entrepreneurs, visibility is everything, and you ensured they were seen and consistently promoted. The membership team, growth and structure is strength, and you built that foundation beautifully. To the Flow app, InHub, and the government interface team, you've ensured structure, access, and alignment at every level. Thank you for being the backbone behind the scenes. To the EC editorial and EC finance team, your roles required immense attention to detail and responsibility, and they're critical to the integrity of the chapter. Thank you for carrying that responsibility so well. And to my office bearers, Sita Reddy, our incoming chairperson, Gunjan Sindhi, our vice chairperson, and Priya Gazdar, our immediate past chairpersons, thank you for your partnership and strength. And finally, my core team, my pillars of strength, our Executive Secretary, Ms. Rashi Agarwal, our Joint Secretary, Ms. Rashmi Doshi, Shilpa Raju, our Treasurer, and our Joint Treasurer, Ms. Deepti Donkeshkar. Truly, without you, it would have been impossible to function. You carried the weight of this chapter every single day, handling, reporting, reviewing every committee's work, overseeing processes, guiding teams, stepping in wherever needed, solving problems even before they became visible. You were not just supporting the year, you were truly holding it. And now I would request the AV team to please play a short clip showcasing our wonderful committee, the backbone of this remarkable year. single committee member, thank you for your time, your dedication, and your commitment. I'm immensely grateful for each one of you. I request my entire team to please stand wherever you are. Please, this moment and applause truly belongs to you. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for this wonderful team, and also a great round of applause for all the men who stood as our strongest pillars throughout this journey, and a thunderous round of applause for the entire team, ladies. Thank you all, and the night is here. I think Rashi will take over. Yes. Yes.
Truly, the year has been memorable for all of us here in the committee. We now have the very special band we brought in from Mumbai, and this will make your evening fun along with drinks and dinner. But before I hand over to them, I'd like our Senior Vice Chairperson, Ms. Sita Reddy, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Namaste. On behalf of FICCI Flow Hyderabad chapter, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to NAVIKA Kumar for joining us this evening and sharing her insights with such clarity and conviction. Your voice has shaped many national conversations, and it was truly a privilege for us to hear your perspectives at first hand today. Our sincere thanks to Sita Palachulla for being with us this evening. Your journey and your work in empowering women entrepreneurs continue to inspire so many, and we are grateful for the ideas and inspirations you shared with our community. Thank you, Sita. Thank you both for making this evening so meaningful to all of us. With that, ladies and gentlemen, now we invite you to relax and enjoy the evening. Dinner is now open, and we hope to continue the conversations and connections that make Flow such a wonderful community. And to add the celebrations tonight, the stage is now open for our band, the Womanias. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
कैसे तुझसे मिला लगाए कोई रब्बा ने तुझको बनाने में कर दी है हुस्न की काली तिजोरियां आज की सियाही से लिखी है तू ही जाने कितनों की लव स्टोरियां केसरिया तेरा इश्क है पिया इसकी कमी थी क्या ये वही है आई वही है आई वही है तू इतना प्यासा ये नहीं है ताकि नहीं इसको तुम खुल के बताए जो है सुनी वो बात क्या है बता मैं तुझसे
Good evening, gorgeous ladies. Good evening, Hyderabad. Can I have a little more energy in the room, please? Good evening, Hyderabad. So we are the Womaniyas all the way from Mumbai to make this evening a little more musical, a little more energetic and more fun. So are we guys ready to have some fun? Amazing. So abhi to sham just shuru hui hai. We are going to get some beautiful old numbers, some new numbers, and the dance floor is all yours. Let's go.
एक लड़की भी भागे से सोती रातों में झांके से मिली एक अजनबी से कोई आगे न पीछे तुम ही कहो ये कोई बात है एक लड़की भीगी भागी सी सोती रातों में झांकी सी मिली एक अजनबी से कोई आगे न पीछे तुम ही कहो ये कोई बात है मन भीगा है सर गीला है उसका कोई पेच भी ढीला है सर गीला है उसका कोई पेच भी ढीला है तनती झुकती चलती रुकती दिख रही है मेरी आँख में मिली अजनबी से कोई आगे न पीछे तुम ही कहो ये कोई बात है एक लड़की भीगी भागी सी सोती रातों में झांकी सी मिली एक अजनबी से कोई आगे न पीछे तुम ही कहो ये कोई बात है करके हमें यूं न जाइए आपको हमारी कसम लौट आए बेकरार करके हमें यूं न जाइए आपको हमारी कसम लौट आए देखिए वो काली काली बदलियां करे ये कैसी मुश्किल है, कोई तो बता दे इसका हल ओ मेरे भाई। क्या करे क्या ना करे ये कैसी मुश्किल है, कोई तो बता दे इसका हल ओ मेरे भाई। कि एक तरफ से उससे प्यार करे हम और उसको ही ये कहने से डरे हम। क्या करे क्या ना करे कैसी मुश्किल है, कोई तो बता दे इसका हल ओ मेरे भाई। जो है उसमें बात वो यहाँ कहीं नहीं किसी में। वो है मेरा बस है मेरा शोर है यही गली गली में। साथ साथ वो है मेरे गम में मेरे दिल की हर खुशी में। जिंदगी में वो नहीं तो कुछ नहीं है मेरी जिंदगी में। कुछ न जाए शमा एतबार के इंतहा हो गई इंतजार के। आई ना कुछ खबर मेरे यार ये हमें है यकीन बेवफा वो नहीं बेवजह इंतजार के। इंतहा हो गई इंतजार के।
ये तो बस खाली वार्म अप राउंड्स चल रहे हैं, है ना। तो जो भी लोग पीछे खाना खा रहे हैं जल्दी जल्दी से फिनिश करके आगे आ जाइए, बिकॉज जितना भी खाना आज हमने खाया है उतनी कैलोरीज भी बर्न करनी है साथ साथ में। ऑल राइट।